Good morning, YouTube. Facebook is thinking. Give Facebook another minute to get on, and then we will begin. Take a moment while we're waiting and subscribe, share, give us a thumbs up if you like us. Fine. Doesn't say anywhere that you can't say l'chaim on coffee. Anyways, I hope you're all doing well, managing with the situation. We're starting a new Chumash, the third book called Vayikra. You know that the Chumash consists of 5 books. That's the word Chumash is from the word Chamesh, which is 5. And the third one, which we're starting this week, is Vayikra. Vayikra tells us that Hashem called to Moshe from the Oyel Moed, from the tent of meeting. And it's pretty interesting because if you look, there's something very specific in this parsha. When Hashem says Vayikra, the last letter of the word Vayikra, Vav, Yud, Kuf, Reish, Aleph, the Aleph is small. And it's rare that you have something like this in the Torah. And we have to understand what's the significance, what's the meaning of a small letter, what's the lesson for us, how we learn something from that and apply it into our lives. So let's first understand a little bit why it's so strange that the letter Aleph is small. Aleph is the first letter in the Aleph base, which shows us that Aleph is very important. It's a prominent letter. Aleph also in Hebrew means aluf. It's like a general, the one in charge, and it represents Hashem. So the Aleph of the Aleph base is a very important letter. Let's just say it's not small, it's a big letter. And when you take the word Vayikra and you take the letter Aleph and you make it small, it's very strange. Even if Torah wants to tell us or express something small for whatever reason, don't do it with the letter Aleph. Aleph by definition is big. Aleph by definition is that opener, that star that represents Hashem and so on. Why would he make the Aleph small? You want to make something small, make the Vav, a Vayikra, and he called. It's an and. It's not even a letter on its own. It's just there to connect. Make the Vav small. But to take an Aleph and reduce that, that's very, very strange. You have to understand it. Now, on another note, the fact that this Aleph is small is troubling because Chazal, our sages, tell us there's a difference between the way Hashem spoke to Moshe as a prophet and the way he spoke to Bilam, a non-Jewish prophet who was a very wicked person. The way Hashem speaks to Moshe is Vayikra. Vayikra means, it's a lashon of chiba. It's an expression of compassion, of love, of affection. Hashem is being nice to Moshe. Hashem is loving to Moshe. That's the word Vayikra. As opposed to when he speaks to Bilam, he says Vayakar. And he called, but the term Vayakar without that Aleph in the end is one that's not loving, not affectionate. It's a negative, has a negative connotation to it. So this element of Vayikra, that Aleph, is very important because that expresses Hashem's relationship with us and the special connection to Moshe. So you take that letter, which makes up the whole difference between the way he talks to Moshe and the way he talks to Bilam, and you make it small. That's the letter that's smaller. It's very strange. There's a story about the Tzemach Tzedek, the third Lubavitcher Rebbe. When he was 3 years old, his grandfather, his Zayde, which was the Alter Rebbe, the author of the Tanya, he took him to Cheder, school. And there's a whole process after your haircut, 3 years old, you're taken to the Cheder and you start learning Aleph Beis, but you learn the alphabet from among a different parsha or something. You don't have a page of the alphabet per se, but in addition to that, you also have we do it from the Sharbat of Tanya or from a Chumash or so on. And the Alter Rebbe told this Melamed, I want you to teach him from Vayikra, from the very beginning of the third book. And that's how they learned. They start from Vayikra, not from the beginning. And they learned it. Now, when they finished, Tzemach Tzedek, little boy of 3 years old, he asked the Alter Rebbe, he said, Zayda, why is that Aleph small? Why is the Aleph of Vayikra small? Now, the Alter Rebbe didn't answer him right away. He went into I'm going to call it a trance, a dveikus. He was very lost or deep engrossed in thought. And after some time, he told his grandson like this. There are 3 sets of letters. You have the regular sized letters. That's what most of the stuff are in the Torah. Then you have small letters like Vayikra. And you have large letters. For example, the beginning of Divrei Hayamim starts with the word Adam. And that Adam talks about Adam Arishan, represents Adam Arishan. So the small Aleph is talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. And the big one is talking about Adam Arishan. Now, both of these people, Adam, the first man, and Moshe, the greatest prophet that ever lived, were both tremendous individuals, incomparable to the common person. They're very, very special, but they're very different. Adam Arishan was created by Hashem himself, with his own hands, so to speak. He wasn't born to a father and a mother. He was literally created by Hashem. Now, Moshe was a tremendous individual as well. Okay? He was a great prophet. As I mentioned, no one else was in that level of prophecy. Hashem spoke to him face to face, which is something which you don't find by other prophets. A very, very strong level of spirituality that Moshe Rabbeinu represented. Now, the difference is that regarding Moshe Rabbeinu, which we don't find that by Adam, Torah says you should know Moshe Rabbeinu was very, very humble. To the extent that Torah says, Ish Moshe, the man Moshe, he was anav me'od, he was very humble, more humble than anyone on earth. It's a very, very big statement. So how is that possible? If you think about it, Moshe Rabbeinu was a person who accomplished a great deal. Okay, he really, really did a lot. And he was a great person. Now, we're not suggesting that he should be arrogant or he should be a big shot because he's great. But at the same time, would we really apply the term greatest humble person, the most humble, to him? If you're very, very great, you can be humble. You're most humble on earth, we wouldn't expect that. And how is it possible? If you know your greatness, you feel good about yourself. If you know your greatness, you know how important you are. How do you do both at the same time? And the answer is that Moshe Rabbeinu thought to himself as follows. My father is the Gadol Hadar. He was the Nasi Hadar. He was the leader of the whole generation. Moshe's father, Amram, was a very important person. And obviously, it had impact on his son. He fathered his son. The son was very special because of who his father was. In addition, Hashem revealed himself to me in a bush, says Moshe. That's a very big deal. Most people that I know, says Moshe, Hashem didn't reveal himself to them. Not only that, but Hashem told me to come on Mount Sinai. I was there for 40 days and 40 nights. These are very, very big occurrences. But Moshe Rabbeinu told himself that if somebody else would have those same opportunities, gifts, and qualities like me, he probably would have done even better than me. In other words, it's not me nor my accomplishments that's causing this. Hashem gave me opportunities. He put me in a certain place at a certain time to be able to accomplish certain things. I'm not going to forget and think, oh, look how great I am. I'm nothing. I'm humble. It's a result of what Hashem has done and has given me. That was Moshe Rabbeinu's attitude. And that's why When Hashem says Vayikra, and that word again represents Hashem's love towards Moshe, Hashem's affection towards Moshe, that's the letter that's small. Because that's exactly where Moshe didn't lose himself. That's exactly there where Moshe said, I am great, but it's not because of my greatness. And therefore I'm very humble. That's what the Alter Rebbe explained to the Tzemach Tzedek, that Moshe Rabbeinu was very humble. Despite his great qualities, he didn't forget where it came from, and he knew what it was for. Now, this expresses Moshe Rabbeinu. Who was he? He was a great person. And despite his greatness, he was very, very humble. Now, these are not two separate things. There's greatness and there's humility. Moshe Rabbeinu blended them. He had them both together at the same time. And here's how he did it. And it's also a lesson to us. Hashem called Moshe. Hashem really calls every one of us. He reaches out to every single Yid, and Hashem says, I want you to go out there and call others. Bring other Yidden closer to Torah and mitzvahs. Encourage them to do the right thing. Inspire them to learn more, to do mitzvahs and so on. Just like Hashem called on Avram Avinu in his time. And Hashem said that he called Avram, and it says about Avram, Vayikra Sham b'shem Hashem kel elam. Avram called out over there that Hashem is the God of the world. So just like Avram did it, each one of us have to do it. So we have a big task. But not only do we have this big task, we also have the opportunities, the gifts, the strengths to be able to do it. So on the one hand, it's Vayikra. Hashem is calling, and He's telling us you need to get out there and do it. On the other hand, you're small, meaning don't worry, I'm going to give you whatever you need to be able to do that. So, we are messengers from Hashem. Hashem is that Aleph, Alufei Shel Olam, but we're only a messenger. So the duality that we have within ourselves is a great, huge task, tremendous responsibility, and therefore it's a merit, it's a schus. We are the ones tasked to go and do that. At the very same time, it's nothing that we have. It's Hashem giving us this ability to do so. And what that does to the person is it helps us stay humble, but not to shy away from responsibilities. Imagine a guy's on a plane, and heaven forbid someone gets ill. And people are shouting, is there a doctor? Is there a doctor here? Doctor. And you're a doctor. And you're actually a very, very good doctor. But you're humble. I'm not going to get up there in front of the whole plane and say, oh, I'm a doctor. That's ludicrous, right? Someone that would say such a thing. Because you need to be humble, but you also have to recognize your greatness. You have to recognize your opportunities. This is what Hashem gave the Jewish people, gave Moshe Rabbeinu. And this is what He's giving each one of us. This responsibility, the task. And at the same time, He's giving us the ability to do so, and it's not coming on our own. So when we behave in such a way of this, it's called the Aleph Ze'ira, a small Aleph, we end up reaching the Aleph Rabasi, the big Aleph, but in a healthy way. So you have to know your strengths, you have to know what you're good at, you have to work on maximizing it, meaning accomplishing what you can with those gifts, qualities, talents, and skills. And at the same time, remember that it's not you, it's coming from Hashem, it's coming from something greater, He's giving it to us. So with that, I'm going to conclude. This is the beginning of Chumash Vayikra. Have a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you all later tonight when we learn Hilchos Pesach at 7:15. Questions, comments, let me know.